Hey, senior citizens, nice to be with you today. I'm Michael Scott. I'm your host for the Seniors in Action channel, where we talk about activities that are of interest to senior citizens. Today we're going to talk about gardening to stay active, and gardening is one of the top 10 hobbies in the United States, especially for seniors. And I've gardened all my life. I can't say that I've been a good gardener and that I've learned a lot from it. I know some master gardeners that really love to garden, and I have not obtained that status, unfortunately. But I have had a garden every year, and I've learned from it. There are a lot of different types of gardens. We'll talk about that. Here's our disclaimer for our affiliate marketing. Just says if you buy anything, we get a commission. All right, let's talk about some of the benefits of gardening. This is from Home Care Assistance website. And you can go out and look, if you Google benefits of gardening, you're going to get all sorts of things out here. But first of all, exercise and burning calories. All right. This basically says that you'll burn 200 to 400 calories an hour gardening by pulling weeds. I really don't want to get my exercise pulling weeds, but I have a neighbor across the street that works in her flower garden, and she can stay in there for hours and clean it up and stuff, and it looks beautiful. So some people are different than others, but I can plant all right, but I don't like the maintaining, I guess, and pulling weeds, and that's probably why I'm not the greatest gardener in the world. But so one of the benefits is exercising and burning calories. Another one is muscle strengthening. If you're using a wheelbarrow or garden tools or pulling weeds, it's going to strengthen you a little bit. And your hand-eye coordination. If you're out in the sun, you're going to get vitamin D. And if you listen to doctors in the United States, vitamin D is one vitamin that most Americans are deficient in. So that's a good benefit. Stress reducing. I think that if you get out in the garden and do some of this stuff, you get your mind off some of the things that may be bothering you, and it is stress reducing. So I think that works well for me. And then it decreases the risk of dementia. And I think a lot of these activities that we've talked about, just staying active and being an active senior, decreases the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. So that alone should be enough to urge us to stay active and get involved in some of these different activities. All right, let's look at some types of gardens. Vegetable gardens are probably the most common ones. That's the only one I've tried to do, and over the years I seem to have spent a couple $100 in seeds and plants, and then I get about $20 worth of vegetables out of it. But I'm getting better. I mean, the last few years I've learned not to overplant and just to plant a few things that we're going to eat. And I think I'm almost breaking even on my garden now. But the main point of a vegetable garden, I think, is not to make money off it, although some people do, to turn a profit. I'm a CPA, so I like to see a profit. But I think it's to learn how to grow food on your own, so that if you ever have to do that, you'll know how. And there is an art to it. I mean, that's why master gardeners are master gardeners. There's an art to gardening, and the more you learn about it, the better you are, and the more success you can have, and the more food you can have. So in addition to vegetable gardens, we've got flower gardens, we've got herb gardens, container gardens, community gardens that people have, rock gardens, labyrinth gardens, which means you're building a maze so that like those English mazes that are pretty cool. Indoor gardens, bamboo gardens, fairy gardens, and there's a lot more. And a fairy garden basically is a garden where you put your little fairy statues out and stuff, like gnomes and things like that. So, and you can see here one thing that would make gardening fun, I think, is to have a railroad train out in your garden. And so we've got garden railways. These guys actually stopped printing this magazine in 2020, is from what I understand anyway. And there is another magazine, and I think it's called Garden Rail, who is printing a magazine now on garden trains and trains that will are good enough to exist outside, and you can put them in your garden and run around the garden, which sounds pretty cool to me. I like that. But so there are different things that you can do with your garden. Now, what should you grow? You need to grow something that you like. Basically, I mean, it's a simple answer. Just grow things that make you happy. We in the past have grown way too many things, and if you've got a small spot and you're growing corn or potatoes, that takes a lot of room, and you can go down and buy a bag pretty cheaply. Now, again, I guess if there were a famine in the land, which we have been lucky not to have, it would be good to have the space to grow those things. But it depends on how much space you have and what you like to eat. So in any type of garden that we've talked about, even a rock garden, there's some plants that are involved in it. And you see this picture of a container garden there. That's a flower container garden, but you can grow vegetables in containers as well. So you need to decide what type of garden you want, and then go to the nursery, and they will help you select plants. You can also go online to magazines and to the internet and research the type of garden you want, and you can find out the type of plants that are good for that type of garden. So do your research. I mean, you need to decide what kind of garden you want before you start. And if it's a vegetable garden, there's all sorts of help and books out there on that. All right, how much should you plant? Unless you grew up with your grandma and she taught you how to can and stuff, you don't want to plant much more than what you can eat or share with others. We sometimes plant 2 or 3 zucchini plants, and they hide down there from us, and then when we find them, they're as big as a baseball bat, and so all that is pretty much wasted. But you want to plant what you need. I mean, zucchini can overrun you in a summer, and you can't even give it away. So plant what you can eat and what you think you can give away. On the other hand, tomatoes are pretty easy to give away, and some of the other vegetables. So use your space wisely and plant what you want. And if you preserve, well, plant quite a bit and can it. So I was making pickles last year out of our cucumbers because we had so many cucumbers that we'd planted. So and I enjoy making cookies. They were really pickles. They were refrigerator pickles. I didn't can them, but this year I might try to can some and make some dill pickles that are canned, because I didn't like my refrigerator pickle recipe that well. All right. Well, lots of different gardens. Think about the kind of garden you want, and then do some research on it, and it'll keep you active. I mean, it's a good way to stay active, and it's got some good benefits. So again, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video. Thank you again.